How can we, it's our dream, in Transform to make it a reality with the support of those investors, and together, we start the strategy in 7 years you need to recoup your investment, and there are other opportunities as well. And that's where you start a small company, and over time, it's growth and have other activities can go. And you can choose 2 years which call it a job. So it's a dream come true, and I think it's. I think what for us entrepreneurs, I remember the first 2 years for me, and when I set up my accounting practice, starting with 0 clients, I sent 600 emails to potential customers. But emerges because the population is very segmented, and you don't have. Let's be true to. We don't have many black accountants. So the Chinese accountant wants to do an Indian. So for me to tap in, we knew, right? And that's why one, you have to rebrand yourself. Two, give a good service. So in my portfolio, there's the entire mix of the population is by giving a good service. And the best form of publicity is by word of mouth. And I guess that's what we should be doing.
And so, I was curious about when you sent out 600.
Wait, 10 replies. I got 10 replies.
Only 10 replies.
Yeah, 10 replies. 5 they said that they have a correct accountant. And the remaining 5 they told me that they're going to keep my details. And that's the world we live in. And then with the beauty is how we more and more people traveling abroad, and then more young entrepreneurs, they want to change from their family accountant, the dad's been stuck with the accountant for 20 bloody years, and they want someone, who's very interactive, professional, and who's going to take the business up there. And that's where, being new in town, that's where you can make the difference. Yeah? Question?
For me, because I'm in the junction between research, innovation, and business, I would say. I've always thought that I could do a serious business model, but for me it's all downhill. I've been procrastinating on doing this for more than 2 years now. And I try, every now and then I get like 6 or 7 hours and I try to work on it, and I don't know, there is something about return on investment, investors paying, I don't know, there is something there in the whole system that I don't believe in. But it's interesting, I would like to, I probably never had a tool like this, like one that was already filled in and that I would follow. Because all that information is somewhere, I've written it somewhere before, it's a question of packaging it in the way that a business model looks like.
I think what we entrepreneurs, we don't realize, we draft the business plan according to our, that's the way you think a business plan is. But when it goes to the bank, they've got strict regulations and they've got strict formats. When it goes from one committee to the next, and then those guys, they will read the executive summary. Oh, it's interesting. And then they will, let's see, they've got a checklist. It's like doing editing, ticking and bashing. They haven't met you, and and then you spend, as I said, maybe more than 10 hours. So getting the right template, and then being to the point, and that's what I like with the English language is simple, straightforward, to the point, and that's where you can keep them what they want, and how to do stuff. That's the.
So how are you modeling out these numbers? Because I guess it's one thing to go to a bank, right, if you're looking for debt financing, but what we've found from kind of talking to VCs and investors who are looking for kind of high growth equity investment, that they spend, all we ever get asked about is the assumptions and how are we proving out the assumptions, and they don't care what the numbers are, except for the assumption sheet, if they can play around with that and it models out.
And that's what's important when you sit down with an accountant. Because let's say I don't know business you're in, when you sit down, that's why, for us what we do is we take your story and transform it into figures, and that's where it is in a suitable format that's presentable to potential investors or bank. And one thing that I do as well, and I've noted that when, let's say my client, they've applied for a loan, they've said, we've sent a business plan, what I tend to do, I accompany my client to the bank. And it does make a difference when you have your accountant next to you. Fine, you know your bigger picture of the business, but when it comes to figures, if you're not able to explain your figures to the banker, and this doesn't give him or her this confidence that figures, and that's why you know.
But I guess I'm asking the difference with like a bank versus say a VC or something. Where like, I think what Ian said before, I mean, we have a business plan, not a single one of our investors wants our business plan. They say, this is ridiculous, you're gonna change it within 3 months anyway. Don't send me a business plan, send me a model.
A business plan is not impossible. The business plan can change. Even when I was started my accounting practice, what touch wood I did have to approach it for financing my business.
Okay.
But the business plan, for many businesses, when you look at the initial model and where they are, it's completely, I wouldn't say completely different, but I would say maybe 20% of the confidence.
Okay. But you would recommend still this style for pitching to an investor?
It helps to have, because what they would like to know is like, how my money will be spent. And without any business plan, obviously, let's say you've talked about, you've got 5, 6, 10 minutes to plan your project, and I think bringing figures, right? And then you can say to them, well, then immediately after the session or the pitch, you can approach them, well, I can say, exchange your business card, you can say, that's why it does help. It does help. Any other questions?
What if you don't want to have dividends?
What if you don't want to have dividends?
What is the difference in between a business model for having a new car every 2 years, or like, how can I put it, in between a company, a for-profit company, and a non-for-profit company?
But not for profit company, it's but one thing for many directors, what they tend to do is they, shall I take a salary or a dividend? Because what we tend to do in Mauritius, exactly the example here, we have the income exemption threshold, like I think in the countries. Like in Mauritius, if you have dependent, the first 295,000 rupees is tax-free. So what we tend to do for small companies, you take the basic salary, so you're covered because the tax is paid, and then you take dividend. So you can take up to 2 million rupees of dividend throughout the year, so without paying tax. Because when you look at the dividend, it's already been taxed before. Otherwise, if you paid dividend and then you declare it, you'll be paying tax twice. Right? So you need to know in terms of where can I, and that's what we call tax planning. In terms of salary, let's say you've got your wife, she's not working, you can take her as a dependent. Now you've got 2 kids, and then if they are studying abroad, so you have this option as well to claim, to increase your income exemption threshold, right? And the balance you can take it as a dividend.
What if I want to limit? I mean, the salaries are given, and whatever is the benefit, it goes into operational. If there is no dividends, because there is that. For instance, it's not only, you're talking maybe because we are coming from a different approach towards this, and I'm not probably an entrepreneur, but in South Africa, depending on the regulations as well, it's not only about taxes, but if you look at creating an internet service provider, there is a lot of room for reducing cost of that operator, complexity, etc., if it's a non-for-profit operator. So, and within that, is not taking advantage of that model that you say in terms of paying less taxes, actually are more for paying us the taxes that I should be paying for the salary that I should be receiving. But it's more, how would it function in terms of convincing someone, an investor, on these models that you have, where the salaries remain constant, and if there is benefit over that, then the idea is to reduce costs, not to increase dividends, I would say.
No, because you're not taking the dividends, so which means that the profit is reinvested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's what you can use it as an argument for, because for him to invest his money, but at the end of the day, we expect some kind of returns.
Well, that's the difficulty,
But
though, so there's no dividend.
no, because what you can do as an entrepreneur is you said any extra profit, after dividend, you're going to reinvest it, because he's going to look at your lifestyle as well. If you realize that I'm putting my money in every 2 years for a changing car, every 3 years, so that's the
Anyway.
But the question is, how are they getting their money back out, I guess? If you can't pay a dividend, and they can't have equity because it's not profit.
No, there's another way as well. If I bring my money in terms of a loan,
Yeah.
right? So the interest on the loan, that will be my return. So there are a number of ways, right? And so some of them would like to be paid as a consultant. I don't know, depending on the type of business and what's the arrangement that will suit everyone. Because you don't want to sell your baby to someone who's going to control your business, and then after 2 or 3 years he moves out, and then the whole business crumbles. And I think you need to be tough as well when it comes to getting that deal, right? It's because at the end of the day, because you're the one who spent, you created. It's your baby. So you can't have someone coming in and then expect, because it's like